Hey Becky and whoever else watches this video. This is the Southwest Rapid Rewards Performance Business Credit Card versus the Southwest Rapid Rewards Premier Business Credit Card. And they both look really good for people like us. I'm a little jealous. I don't think I can get one of these cards because they are subject to the 524 rule. They're Chase cards, and the 524 rule is if you have five or more new credit accounts in the past 24 months, they won't give you a new card. You can apply, but they will automatically deny you. So keep that in mind if any of y'all are in that same position that they're not going to give you the card if you have five or more credit accounts. That is credit card accounts. So I don't think that things like mortgages and car loans and stuff are counting at all. I'm pretty positive on that. The one I'm not sure about is authorized user. If you're an authorized user, they might not count that against you, especially if you call them and say, well, I'm just an AU on that one. And that should be okay as well. If you just Google Chase 20, or actually even better, YouTube Chase 524, there are tons of really great videos explaining it. And this article I'm using is from the Points Guy, and this is a really great resource as well. I just searched Southwest Business Credit Cards Points Guy, and they do these really great breakdowns. What is missing here is if you're new to the points game at all, there's a lot of things they just kind of gloss over and don't explain. So let's get started. I can tell you if I were getting it, I would go for the Rapid Rewards Performance Business Card, even though the annual fee is nearly twice as much. It's more than twice as much. It is pretty worth it, I think, for people like us who travel a lot on Southwest. So annual fees are pretty straightforward. Neither of these are waived the first year, so plan to pay that on your first bill. Moving on to the sign-up bonus. It's not worth it to get a points card if you're not going to earn the sign-up bonus, so keep an eye on how much you have to spend. This is a spend you have to make 3 months from the day you're approved, not 3 months from the day you get the card. So pay attention to what day they approve you, mark your calendar. You've got 3 months after that. And I've heard of people missing out on huge sign-up bonuses because they were $1 short, and I don't think they will do anything to help you out if you end up in that case. So, of course, we don't want to spend money we would not otherwise spend to get the points because that doesn't usually work out to be a very good value. The points are worth about 1.4 cents each for Southwest and the other major airlines. So looking at the bonuses, your 60,000 bonus is worth approximately $840. So if you got the Premier Business Card and got that bonus and used it and then kept it for the next 8 years and paid the annual fee, you break even if you did nothing else. Of course, if you're using the card, there's a lot more value to get out of it, a lot more points value. And on top of that, the protection of credit versus debit card is pretty solid. So then moving on to the sign-up bonus for the performance card, we've got an 80,000 point bonus. That one's worth $1,120 approximately. So pretty significant. If we did the same situation and got this bonus and didn't use the card for anything else, we would get 5.5 years before we broke even on it. Of course, with a card like this, I expect you'll be using it for a lot of flights and even possibly hotels, although I'd strongly recommend you choose a hotel chain, get their card, and stick to that one because the points, you don't get any points multipliers on hotels for either of these airline cards, which is pretty normal. Did I just... that might be... Let's see. Rapid Rewards Hotel and... Oh, nope, I take it back. If it's a hotel partner, you get some multipliers here. I'm not exactly sure how it works with the partners. I think you have to book it through Southwest, which I had pretty bad luck with on a car rental one time, but that's just one time, so up to you whether you want to try it. But in general, the general advice is choose a chain like, say, Hilton, get their card, book through their chain, get all the multipliers there. And if any of y'all are interested in that, tell me which chain that you are interested in. I'd be happy to make a video on that, comparing what cards are available and what your value is. So on the earning rates, this is pretty good. My personal Southwest card only gets 2 points per dollar, I think, on Southwest. Um, this better card, the performance card, is getting 3. And then this is where I wished I could have this card, is that there's the 3 points on the Southwest purchases, which is pretty great, although most of my Southwest tickets are booked by Becky. So that's not a huge difference. But here, it's the 2 times on social media and search engine advertising, internet, cable, and phone services. That's pretty cool. If I had this card, I'd be taking advantage of that. And then 1 point everywhere else. This is normal. Every points card should have 1 point for every dollar you spend. And if it doesn't, don't get that card. Moving on to the elite qualifying benefits. Now, this is only sort of useful to you. I don't think that anybody in the band flies enough for this to matter. The points, the elite points, are per person. So let's say Becky books me a ticket and I earn points. I'm the one earning the elite, the tier qualifying points to get status. The trouble is the minimum status is 35,000 tier qualifying points, and often your award miles number is a lot bigger number than the amount of miles that count toward elite status. So I don't see any of us getting this elite status, even with this boost from spending the right amount of money. But you could do the math, look at where you are. For instance, mine, let me just pull up my app and see where I am toward elite status this year. The way you do that is you open Southwest, you wait for it to load for a long time for some reason. Click on the top right to get your profile, and you're going to get a little speedometer looking dial. So from this year, the only flights I've taken are with the band, and then I took 2 separate segments that were award miles flights, so those don't count towards status. So I've taken basically the same flights you all have, and I have 5,845 of the required 35,000 points to make A-list. Now, A-list looks really cool, but you have to fly a ton to get there. So I'm not seeing this as a huge value in general, but with any card, you're probably going to have some things that are not of value. And it really depends on what's a value to you. It could be something that's a great value to me, but you don't care about, say, something like this next section. Maybe you don't care about getting priority boarding. Then this is not a value. So just keep in mind what is useful to me may not be useful to you. So perks section, the Premier card is pretty vanilla. Not really exciting me much. I think other than getting the points bonus, you would be better off just keeping a personal card and using that. Becky had asked about the business card specifically just for entity separation, which I think is a great idea according to the research I've done, mostly on YouTube. There's a great YouTube channel called All Up in Ya Business. And it's an attorney that just talks about the things you need to know for single member LLCs and that kind of stuff. So back to the perks. This one is huge value to me. My personal card, the priority card, has this, and that is worth the price of the annual fee to me. So you get 4 priority boardings. You've seen it. The way it works is you go to the check-in. Well, they don't usually give it to you at the check-in counter. Sometimes they will. We all got it that one time. A lot of times you have to go at the gate. So once you get to the gate, you go up, you say, do you have any boarding upgrades? And I've yet to get a no, but I've only done this about 7 or 8 times. If that, maybe 6. So you go up, you ask for the boarding, and they'll say yeah, and then they'll be like, but it's $50 or whatever. It's anywhere between 30 and 50 typically. So they'll be like, yeah, I do, but it's $50, and they'll tell you what it gets you. This gets you a 7 or something like that. then I wish I had my mandolin to play an A7 chord right now. That would have been super cool. So then you've got to use this card to get the statement credit, of course, but you pay with the card, and mine were crediting the next day, so it never hit my statement. It just got canceled right out. So averaging $40 each, if you get 4 of these boarding passes per year, we're doing pretty good. $160, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, what if it was 50, you get 200 at worst? It's still a pretty good return. So that right there, let's say they were all 50 and you got 4 of them, that has canceled out your annual fee. However, you're still paying this in cash. So you want to keep in mind, if you would not have taken advantage of this in the first place, and if you don't really care whether you get on the plane sooner, this is not a great value. But to me, that's a huge value. When I ran out of these, I took my Amex Rose Gold card, and it has an airline fee reimbursement as well. So I started getting these boardings for free through that card as well. So that's something you could consider. You'll get addicted to the early boarding, I think. This one is very exciting. Up to 365 $8 in-flight Wi-Fi credits per year, and it covers you all day. That is awesome. So they do the math some more further down, a sample of 8 or something like that. But I'm thinking we took as a band, I don't know, 6 or 8 segments. Let's say it were 6 segments. That's another $48 a year you get. That one is just more value the more times you use it, of course. That one is pretty exciting. I wish my card had that. But again, I'm looking at a card that I don't think I can have because I'm past 524. So, too bad. If I'd done more research when I got into the points game, I might have gotten some more Chase cards before moving on to other brands because the other brands don't have the same restrictions. This right here is cool. I think all of you, except for Dan, are using the global entry or pre-check, and every 4 years they'll pay $100 toward it. So that helps take the yearly cost down as well. If you take advantage of all this stuff we just looked at and you spend those points every year, this is I kind of skipped over the anniversary bonus. Every year on your card anniversary, or it may be at the first of the year. I think with these cards, it's actually on the date of your card anniversary. They give you this many points. Let's do the math on each one. So if you get the 6,000 points, that's $84. If you get the 9,000 points, that's $126. By the way, I'm doing this math by just saying 9,000 times that's 90,000. I'm using my phone calculator here. So that's 90,000 again. All right, 9,000 times 0.014 because they're worth approximately 1.4 cents a piece. And that gives me the $126 value. So if you use your card bonus, let's add up the card that I think is worth it more. Your first year, if you've got the 80,000 points, that's 1,120. Plus 126. You're $1,246 in value on your first year, so that is way more than this annual fee, of course. Let's say you averaged out to $160 in boarding value. This stuff is way too fun. We're up to $1,406. Let's say you took 10 segments, or not 10 segments, but 10 days flying. Earlier I said segments, but this is by the day, not by the segment. So let's say you took 10 of those. You're up another $80. And let's say that first year you used it for your global entry. You're getting $1,586 in value the first year for this annual fee, which is pretty awesome. But let's say your second year, now you're not getting the points bonus anymore. You get a lot less at that point, but minus 1,120. you're still without the bonus every year after that. If you use these other perks, you're getting $466 in value per year. So if you use it right and don't pay interest on anything, they're paying you to use the card, or really the people who didn't pay interest on their cards are paying you to use the card. This one is a no-brainer for the traveling musician, I think. I'm jealous. So you can read more in the article. I'm going to put the article down in the description. The Points Guy is a really reliable source for this stuff. You can read more. They go into detail, but I think I covered all the main things, but they've got it written down and the math all written down as well. And then I think they have a little section on 524. They do, so you can read about it here. Right now, they're not letting you have more than one personal Southwest card. So I upgraded mine. I didn't want to close it because it had credit history. So I upgraded my personal card to the priority card so that I could get the priority boarding and stuff. Right now, they are letting people have both business cards. So if you really wanted to, you could open both business cards, collect the bonus on both of them, and then either keep them both open, which might make sense for a while, or if your credit history is solid and long enough, you could actually close one of the cards. Just wait a while, wait a full year, read their fine print, make sure that they're not going to take your points back for doing that. So the safe bet is you wait a full year, maybe even keep it 2, and then close one of them, and then you still get value out of the card. Or just keep both. It depends on your needs, but I don't see a great reason to keep both long term. I think one of them is a keeper card, and that would be the performance card. And then moving on, you can read this section. I don't know a lot about Companion Pass because this is not something I've searched or I've gone to learn about very much. But my understanding of it is once you've earned Companion Pass, which takes the 110,000 points, you can for a year just bring somebody with you wherever you go. I would read the fine print on that, but I'm imagining besides family vacation and things like that, imagine the band flying and one person flies for free with Becky. That would be pretty cool. And then here he's got a pretty good summary. And that's about it for this card. So my recommendation again is I think for anybody that's going to fly very much at all and who would like to get on early to get their instrument and or a good seat and who might purchase the Wi-Fi anyway and who is going to get the global entry or pre-check and doesn't have another card that already gets this value. This is not an uncommon value for more premium cards. So if you didn't already have a card that was going to get this value, the rewards performance business credit card is the way to go. And then you can weigh out whether these things mean anything to you and maybe consider going with this one. It's a little cheaper. But again, this one next to this one, this is the Sam Bush of the two, that's for sure. So hope that's helpful for y'all. If you have questions about other ones, I'm actually working toward, this is a practice run for a YouTube video I want to make. So if you have questions about it or things that I said that you're like, wow, I have no idea what that means, I'd really appreciate just an email back saying like, when you said X, I have no idea what that is, because I've noticed most of the YouTube channels, they don't explain some of the basics. They talk a little bit like the way you ask somebody like, how do you practice with the metronome? And they're like, oh, I get rid of all of the beats and I listen to it in silence and I walk circles around the house and that's how I do it, when really the person's question was, how do I turn on my metronome? So I'm looking for those kinds of things that might seem obvious after I've spent a lot of time reading this stuff that maybe doesn't seem obvious to other people, so I can break it down when I make this a real live YouTube video. And then for other topics, other chains, other airlines, that kind of stuff, I'm planning on making more of those as well. So if any of y'all are curious about, like, say, the Hilton status or Marriott status, that kind of stuff, let me know. I'll make you a video on it. And I will see you all in Phoenix or Becky. I'll see you tomorrow.